Hi, this is Dan Brunner, District Director with Fathom Realty here in Austin. Over the last week, I've heard a lot of discussion about a major shift in the Austin real estate market. Obviously, if this is happening, this is very important to real estate professionals as we determine how to best advise our clients and to adapt our business plans to a shifting market. So here's what I've been hearing the last week. There's been a significant increase in listings. There's been a significant increase in price reductions. There's been a significant increase in back on market, and the number of showings is going down, and the attendance at open houses is poor. So hearing all this information is all well and good. I want to see the data. And I was really looking forward to the Austin Board of Realtors market report came out yesterday. It includes all residential property activity in Austin, Round Rock metropolitan statistical area. And I prefer to use the 5-year data as it illustrates trends much better than year-over-year reports. When we look at sales, the April residential home sales did decrease, a slight dip from 3,302 to 3,280. When we look at the seasonal trend, you'll notice that each April we are either trending up or there's a slight decrease before the uptrend begins. And that's been consistent the last 5 years, even throughout the pandemic. We look at active listings, they jumped 37% from March to 2,763, but still well below the average of 6,600 active listings in the normal market that we saw from 2014 until 2019. This appears to be a normal seasonal fluctuation. Again, you look at the trends here, each April, we're typically in the middle of listings trending up, peaking out in June and July. Months of inventory, we've been well below 2 months of inventory since June of 2020. And the last time we saw a balanced market of 6 months of inventory was back in June of 2011. And that's why this report goes all the way back that far instead of just 5 years. If the normal seasonal trend continues, we expect that inventory will likely increase through July. Days on market, we're down again this month. We're still well below the normal days on market of 90. And we're likely to see the days on market continue to drop through June or July, as April is typically when we're in the middle of the downtrend before we bottom out in June or July and then start trending back up. Prices don't seem to have much seasonal fluctuation these days. The April sales price increased again with a 16% increase compared to April 2021. And the median sales price set a new record of $550,000. It's going to be interesting to watch and see what the May report has to show for perspective on how rising interest rates and inflation will impact sales prices. The list price to sales price ratio peaked in April of 2021 at 110%. We saw it drop back down to 100% last November, but we're trending back up to those record levels. We see that April is typically when we're reaching the peak of the list price to sales price ratio. Typically does peak out in June or July, and then drops back down. So we'll expect that it'll probably peak next month. So the market report from the Austin Board of Realtors covered the data through April 30th. And what I was hearing is that this shift is happening very rapidly. So I thought it would be appropriate to look at the first 2 weeks of May, going back actually 30 days here, but kind of separating out the last 2 weeks of April and the first 2 weeks of May. When we look at new listings in the Austin region, the last 2 weeks of April, we were averaging 180 a day. The first 2 weeks of May, it's averaged 187 a day. So it's just a 3% increase there. When we look at the city of Austin, it's very similar trend, just not quite as many numbers. When we look at the price reductions in the Austin region, the last 2 weeks of April, we were averaging 52 a day. And the first 2 weeks of May bumped up to 81 a day. So there is a significant increase of 35% there. I didn't have the time to go back and look more than 30 days because I have to generate this manually. But this is definitely interesting, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. We'll look at properties that come back on the market after contracts were terminated. We were averaging 27 a day the last 2 weeks of April. That went up to 31 a day with just a 13% increase the first 2 weeks of May. So are we really seeing a market shift? There doesn't appear to be a market shift. The significant increase in listings, that was only 3%. The significant increase in price reductions, yeah, there's definitely indication that there's a significant shift there. Increase in properties back on market, that was just 13%. The reduced number of showings, no data available for that. Yeah, showing time does produce reports on showings. Unfortunately, only 10% of agents here in Austin participated in showing time. And so it really doesn't provide us a good data set to work with. When we look at attendance at open houses, again, I'm not aware of any data that is collected anywhere that shows what kind of attendance is happening at open houses. So the data seems to suggest that this is mainly a seasonal fluctuation, but it could be indicative of a movement toward a more normal market. You know, the interest rates going up, the inflation increases, that is eventually going to impact the market. But I'm not seeing that right now. I'll continue to gather the data, and I'll post another video if I note some significant changes. So thanks for watching. If you found this report to be helpful, please like and share so others can find these reports. And if you need any help with your real estate needs, please contact me. Thanks.